So when you drew, my last question, when you built the culture around these robots, giant robots, did you lean into like armored culture, like with the Cav angle for you, or did you create something new?
So I started that as my base because again, alternate history. They're universally called Panzerters because they were invented by West Germans because the Americans were looking for a weapon to end the war in Afghanistan. And there's a short story on it that is on my newsletter chain, or it was. I need to double check my newsletter chain because I might have swapped it for a different story by now. But it's basically the first Panzerters were like these big cumbersome things with like a 50 cal on one arm and like a Bushmaster or a Mark 19 on the other, like these big like excavator things. They pulled from like Cav scouts, helicopter pilots, and tankers to essentially do like a reverse Tet offensive on the Taliban in like 2008. So they just get like wiped and are effectively destroyed, and the war on terror is effectively over by like 2010. So we could focus on other things. But so it did start as like there are some like Cav and armor traditions like pertinent to that, but by the time our story starts, it has become its own thing. I do treat them as real military vehicles though.
Okay. So drive it like you stole it.
Yeah, like maintenance is a bitch. Maintenance is a whole thing. They break down. They have their own issues. Sometimes like the comfort features just aren't there. My editor, she actually said like, when I envision sci-fi, like there's a lot of like holograms and touchscreens, and there's not a lot of that in your Panzerter books. I was like, how easy like it is for some Billy Bob Private to fuck that up when he's stressed and sweaty in the middle of a fight, or some touchscreen gets out of alignment. He's desperately trying to eject or something, but he can't because he's sweating and he's panicking. No, knobs,
Yeah.
switches, buttons. You can't mess that up.
Yeah, and
Analog
it's
stuff.
the tactile sensation would ground it a lot more easily than like pointing and touching air, especially when you're operating on body like um, muscle memory kind of thing. I got one of the critiques I've seen from people that are into blades against Nick's vaunted lightsaber is that because it's a laser